to our Wednesday afternoon circuit class. Today we're going to be doing a strength and conditioning circuit. So we have two groups, 4 exercises in each group. We're going to actually do 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So it'll be minute rounds or minute sets. We're going to do 3 rounds of each exercise. I do have some equipment with me today, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, but it's not necessary if you're joining us. If you don't have equipment, I'll show modifications for everything. But we'll just get right into the warm-up with some arm swings. The first exercise is a chest exercise, so just take that time to open up that chest. I'm going palms up, and then I'm turning my palms down as I cross my body. And you might notice I'm alternating which arm is on top there as well. I'm glad if you could join me live. If not, this will be on YouTube afterwards as well. We're going to go into our hip hinge with side lean. So I'm pushing my hips back, crawling my hands down my hamstrings, and stand up, pull those left fingers back, hips to the left, lean to the right, hips to the right, lean to the left. And we're going to do that one more time. This time pulling back on those right fingers, and then same thing. Arms in line with the ears, hips to the right, lean to the left, hips to the left, lean to the right. Now we're just going to go into some side kick, side jog, whatever you want to call it. Because this is strength and conditioning, we also want to get the heart rate up a little bit. If you're not a big fan of, a little bit of impact here, you can always just sort of kick to the side. Maybe it's a step, kick, step, kick, whatever you want there. And then we're going to hinge at the hips and front crawl forward. Try to keep that chest lifted. And just imagine you're swimming forward, and we're going to reverse the direction, swimming back. Go into some body weight squats, hinge from the hips, bend at the knees, chest stays lifted. Shake out all the cobwebs you might be having from sitting. And we'll just go in some jumping jacks. So again, we can do the full jumping jacks, or you can be stepping instead, wherever you need to be. All right, we have a lot of work ahead of us today in a short period of time. So we'll go into group 1 here. As I'm demonstrating, feel free to join me along just if you want to keep moving. Continue doing those side jacks. There are other warm-up moves that we did. Our first move is a glute bridge chest press. I'm just going to use my lighter weights for this exercise, but when I do the exercise, I will be using the heavier weights. So you could be using a resistance band behind your back instead. But we're going to go into the glute bridge, chest press up, elbows just above the ground. Don't let them touch the ground. Maybe they'll just kiss it. Up and down. If you don't have any weights, we're just going to go into the push-up. Nice straight line from head to toe. And again, like I said, you could have the resistance band behind your back instead, pressing up that way while in that glute bridge position. Walkouts, no equipment necessary. We're going to stand up, down, walk your arms down, walk out. Okay, if you want to practice these with me, feel free, just so you can keep moving and get a little bit more of a warm-up. Again, I stand up nice and tall, walk out to that high plank position. I don't rotate my hips at all. Use that core to stabilize. Sumo squats, you can grab your weight if you want. You can grab your resistance band. Elbows are stacked underneath the wrist. Feet are wider than hip width, pointed out. And then again, I'm going to hinge from the hips, bend at the knees, keep that chest lifted, squat up and down. Yeah, I'll probably use the heavier weight for that. I might have to drop down on the third set. Now, last is our 180 squat jump. We're going to squat, touch down, 180 jump. So you're facing the other way, squat, touch down, 180 jump. If you don't want to do the whole 180, you could do 90, or you can just simply go into a calf raise at the end to almost stimulate jumping without any impact. All right, so those are our 4 exercises. Like I said, we're doing 3 rounds today. We have 8 minutes or 12 minutes on this circuit. So we're gonna get right into it. And we're going in 3, 2, and 1. So 45 seconds on. I go into that glute bridge position. I push up. Weights are over my wrist, over my elbows, over my shoulders at the top, so everything's stacked. I'm keeping my hips high in that glute bridge position. Halfway there. Elbows aren't touching. I should say elbows aren't resting on the ground at the bottom. They kiss at the bottom, just to show that that's the end range of motion. And then I'm getting a full range of motion throughout this. Almost there. Breathing out as we push out, breathing in as we lower. Oh, we're done. That exercise, again, we have 15 seconds of rest. I don't have my water, unfortunately. I left it in the other room, so I might run in between sets. But we go into our walkout. High plank position. Back up. If I want to modify here, I'm just going for those hips, knees, ankles, and then I'm reaching up at the ceiling. Reaching up at the ceiling, or we're doing the full walkout. High plank position. Stand back up. You can go as fast or as slow as you want on these. Obviously, the faster you go, the harder it's going to be. But this up and down is great for conditioning, great for getting that heart rate up. Nothing gets your heart rate up more than vertical displacement. And you can feel, oh, we're all done there. You can feel those chest muscles, those shoulder muscles, muscles in the arm that you're using in that glute bridge chest press as you're using in the walkout. The real deadly combination here is going to be the next 2 exercises. You'll probably be feeling this one for the next couple days. If you need to lighten the weight to keep your form and to keep your tempo, go ahead. Chest stays lifted. I hinge from the hips. If I needed a modification, I could use something like a couch or a chair to reduce my range of motion and give me that support, knowing that I have something there as a little safeguard that could catch me if I need a little bit of a break and can just stand up and get back into it. All right, and we rest. Full disclaimer, I probably won't be jumping for the full 45 seconds. I don't need you to either, but challenge yourself, right? I like to touch down on these while keeping my chest lifted. And again, anytime you need that break, we can go into 90-degree squat jump. You can take your time, set yourself up, jump, land, set yourself up, jump, land, set yourself up. Or you can be going those calf raises instead. And at any point, you can switch between those 3, right? I could be doing those, and I could instantly go into the 180s. I could be going right into the 90, and then into the raise, right? I can still feel, I can still feel the burning in my legs through any combination of those 3. But we're back on the ground for our glute bridge chest press. Right into it. I find this exercise as more of the break for me because I don't have any heavier weights than this, unfortunately, but I guess I find it more of the break as this is the easier of the 4 exercises. Halfway there. Those 180 squat jumps after the sumo squats are pretty brutal. We're just going through 3 times. We can do it. If you never need modification, just go ahead and type in the chat. And I'm happy to assist there. All right. We're up on our feet for our walkouts. All right, here we go. Again, we can adjust the difficulty by changing the tempo, and that might be changing the tempo by slowing down. All right, take a little extra time there to catch my breath. I can speed things up. Right? We have to make our workout our own so that we feel good doing it, and we feel good after the workout knowing that, you know, we were doing our best, that we didn't hurt ourselves because we were going at our own ability level. Just getting up. Yeah, one quick one in here. Just getting up and moving around, right? That's a big accomplishment of the day. I think I'm going to go a little bit later on this set, just so those 180 squat jumps don't murder me as hard. Again, a hinge from the hips, bend at the knees, chest stays lifted. But I wanted to use a resistance band. I certainly could do that as well. I just step in. I hold the resistance band up top. Feet are doing the same thing, right? If I want to grab a little bit lower, I'll get some more resistance. Really hard to see that resistance band in the light. Chest stays lifted. Feet are still pointed out. A little further than hip width apart. Oh, all right. We got those 180 squat jumps. Didn't hit the round timer last time. Sure to do that on our final exercise. Grab some water, and we're back into it. Squat, I set myself up, I land, I set. Yeah, the 180 is difficult, so if you're only doing 90, that's fantastic. I don't recommend doing 360s, as not only are they difficult, I think it'll make yourself dizzy. And I'm taking my time to set myself up. And this is still relatively cardio heavy, but I'm going at a tempo that makes sure that I can do this for the full 45 seconds with perfect form and time there. All right, and on this round, I'll demonstrate with the band. Again, you could be doing push-ups for body weight. Either modified or incline. But the same thing happens. I still go into that glute bridge. Maybe I grab a little bit lower on this band. And I really focus with the band on squeezing at the top, because that's where you get the most resistance with the band anyways. And it's the end of the exercise. So it's going to make sure that you're contracting all those muscles that you want to contract with maximum effort needed. 15 more seconds, keep pushing. Squeeze the glutes, push those hips high. There's a full body exercise here. 3 more. And time. All right. On our feet to the walkout. We'll demonstrate with a few of the modifications first. Oh, and we are on round 3. Hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, knees. Oh, yeah, hips, knees, ankles, ceiling. Sometimes the brain doesn't work so well when when you're talking and exercising. Or we could be doing the full thing, right? Maybe as sort of a change in your tempo, you're doing a walkout, then a modification, then a walkout, right? Similar to those 180 squat jumps that we were doing, we can modify it that way. So we still feel like we're working hard, and we're still able to do the full workout. All right, sumo squats, and I'll show with the other weight. The body weight version is just this, without holding onto a weight. No real benefit in showing it. Yeah, my chest stays lifted, I hinge from the hips. What I mean by hinge from the hips is I get my butt out of the way. That's the first point, right? Butt out of the way, sit down and let imaginary chair stand up. And the benefit of the sumo squat is we target some more of our abductor muscles, the muscles on the outside. Chest stays lifted. And one more rep here. Perfect. All right, 180 squat jumps, whether we're modifying or not. Again, the hinge from the hips, bend in the knees still happen. And at the top, I'm jumping and rotating at the same time. Maybe since it's latch run, I want to make sure I'm good form. Maybe I'm just going for the 90-degree. Still keep up that perfect form. Try to get those soft landings. That one wasn't so soft. Soft landing means you have to bend your knees into the landing. Bend your knees into the landing. Make your legs are shock absorbers. That's why it really helps to have shoes on during these as well, because the shoes will act as shock absorbers in the jump. All right, and time. Okay, I'm going to stop that. 1, 2. Show you guys exercise 2, but I'm going to go quickly grab my water bottle. All right, and as your added break, you can either just take a break while you're listening to me explain these. You can practice them with me. Whatever you think is best for you. Bent over rows, I'm going to be using the lighter weight. I start from standing with the hips, or the weights in front of my hips. And then I do the same thing in the squat. I push my hips back. Weights will end up around my knees. My chest stays lifted. And I'm just pulling my elbows past my body, keeping that nice straight line. Like so. Side shuffle, make sure your area is clear. Hinge at the hips, bend the knees, everything square to the way you're facing. We're going to shuffle a few steps depending on your room side. Touch down on the lead foot. Back and forth just like that. I'll show you this way. But again, I'm making sure my area is clear. Low plank, simple and as boring as it sounds, it is just effective core exercise. Nice straight line, or we're modifying from the knees, okay? And then last but not least is the burpee. 45 seconds of these will tire you out. The modification is the same as the walkout, so hips, knees, ankles, ceiling. Forward jumping up, down, out, up, all the way to standing. Stand all the way up, nice and straight. All right, so we'll get going with round 2. Probably finish a little overtime, but that's okay. We're going in 3, 2, and 1. Bench over row. I'm going to show you the band since I showed you that. Just stepping inside the band like so. Hinging at the hips, grabbing nice and low. Pulling the elbows past the body. Chest stays lifted. No rounding in the back. This nice straight hinge. squeeze at the top, so squeeze those elbows. Try to touch your elbows almost behind your back. Almost there. Just pick a spot about 3 feet in front of you to look forward to. One more rep. Squeeze. Perfect. All right, then we have our side shuffle on the minute mark. I'm going to get rid of my heavy weights just so I can create some more space. And on this, we're going with the side shuffle. Again, I'm staying square. I'm just going to take an extra 2 seconds to make sure my work area is clear. Shuffle, touch, shuffle, touch. Again, we could be going a little quicker. We could be going a little slower, right? Principle is the same though. I hinge from the hips, slightly bend at the knees, chest stays lifted. This is your athletic position. Touch, touch, right? If you need to modify, the hinge isn't so much for you, just go upright. It's okay, you don't need to do the hinge. You don't need to do the touch. You can just move laterally through. All right, low plank, 45 seconds. If you feel your form wavering or maybe your back starts to hurt, either just drop and take a break or drop to modify. But we have that nice straight line. Normally I like to add something in to these low planks, but every now and again I just really like to challenge our plank form, our core strength, our core endurance by just doing the basic low plank. Sometimes when I do like the shoulder tap or the foot tap out, these things, I don't get it as much in my core, but always returning to the low plank is never a bad thing. And if you need that break, drop to that modified, right? It's still challenging those same muscles. I still have that nice straight line, and at any point in time, I can just pop back up into my low plank. Right? Because 45 seconds is a long time to hold that. It's like 45 seconds is a lot of burpees. But we can adjust our tempo. We can be going fast. We can be going slow. So we make sure we have perfect form. And we can make sure we're not losing our lunge. And we feel good doing the workout. The other version of the modified, so I showed you the ceiling, hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, is you can take the impact out of the burpee by just hinging, crawling down, stepping out, stepping out, stepping in, stand up, standing up, still nice and tall again. I hinge, I touch down, out, high plank, in, stand up, nice and tall. Or we can just be doing the regular burpee, but I stand up tall. I don't cheat at the end by, jumping from that position. All right, bent over row. This time we're using dumbbells. If you don't have weights, you don't need weights, you can hinge this way. Or we can be doing prone tees, where we're just lifting our thumbs up from the ground, just like so. So if you don't have weights, this is an alternative to work a lot of those same muscles. Try not to let your hands touch the ground on that, and you'll really feel it in your back musculature. Again, use these weights. It could be cans of soup as well. It could be textbooks. Try to touch those elbows behind your back. I don't really think about the weight too much. I more think about pulling my elbow back. I always hate this window because it makes it look like I have an arched back, but it is very straight. All right. We'll do our side shuffle. Make sure your area is clear of phones, dumbbells, bands, whatever it is. Use this time to get some water. Hinge, chest up, I'm shuffling, I touch down, shuffling, touch down. The intensity I would be aiming for this workout would sort of be a 7, 8 out of 10. It is designed to be a little bit harder, I may not be moving through at my full speed right now, just because I need to continue to talk. And you may not be moving at your full speed now because, you know, today you just feel like pushing a 5 or a 6 out of 10 instead of a 7 or an 8. And that's completely fine. I respect that tremendously because you're doing something today to make yourself feel better. All right. And then we're in our low plank. If you want to modify, another way you can do it from an incline, you know, this is high plank, which is a little more suitable for a chair. I'm using a couch here so I can go more low plank. Okay, this is still pretty challenging. It's not as challenging as the low plank from the floor, but if you can do this with perfect form, and you can't do it from the floor perfect form, this is what I'd rather you be doing. Halfway there, so I'm going to switch to the ground here. At any point, you can switch what you're doing. You know, this isn't law, what I'm teaching. This is a guided suggestion. But I can just feel my core shaking. You might be able to see that on the screen there. But I'm certainly sweating, breathing heavier, and time on those. And then our burpees. Oh, we're on round 2. This is, you know, I like having all these fancy things and counting the rounds, but I don't know how many times I forget that. All right, we're into our burpees. Sometimes I just take a second to reset and think, is my form good? Am I doing everything right? How do I feel? And it's good for tempo too, right? This is the second round of the second group of exercises. So I'm pretty pooch. So I'm just moving through at a pace where I don't lose my lunch on stream, and then I can still continue talking to you guys. All right, and then the bent over row. Finish with those dumbbells. Although the band is a good option on this as well. Finish from the hips. Elbows past the body. Head neutral. You know, tuck the chin if you need to. Squeeze the elbows behind the back. If you need to stand, reset your form, go ahead. The other modification you can be doing if you don't have weights is just the standing T. Right, I could be doing this instead. Maybe it's a standing L, which by that now I've L'd my arms instead of T'd my arms, squeezing the shoulder blades in the back. Whatever you need to do, right? We're still using the same musculature, maybe not in the same way, but we are using it all the same. And I can clear these right out of the way now for my side shuffle, because that's it for the weight. I go into my side shuffle. Again, your modifications are either, you know, standing upright without the touch, or maybe we're just going a little bit slower, or maybe you're doing a side shuffle squat, side shuffle squat, right? Whatever it needs to be. And you can do this in a smaller room. You can see this is a fairly large room, but I could be going 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, it's arguably a little bit harder. Oh, should have not crossed over, so I'm going to cross over there just for quality's sake and time. All right, we have 2 more exercises. We are on round 3, just the final round. We are approaching 12:30, so if you have to go, I understand. There's a little bit of extra time explaining exercises today. We're going into a low plank. We'll probably stop at about 12:35 today after stretches. I hope that's okay. If you need to break and stretch now, I understand. Again, modification, you can drop to the knees. I like to lift my feet. Gives more of a clear anchor point in terms of where you start and where you end. And at any point you can pop up, right? See how easy that is to transition? And the whole time, I can be transitioning like this, and the whole time, my core is working, right? I'm still shaking in my core. I'm still working hard. I'm still maintaining perfect form, right? Time there. One last set of burpees. With the burpees, we can mix and match too, right? I could build into the burpee where I do hips, knees, ankle ceiling, and then maybe I'm doing the no impact burpee, and then a full burpee, and then I'm back into ceiling, hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, low impact burpee, full burpee, ceiling, hips, knees, ankles, low impact burpee. Last one right here. Perfect. All right, well done. And I'm going to go back to the main stage. And we're just going to go through some stretches so I know where I want to be right now, which is on the ground in a Y, so you can get there slowly. My arms are in a Y, and I'm actively pressing my elbows into the ground to open up my chest. Take a few deep breaths. Excellent work. I'm going to take my left leg. I'm going to cross it over my right. Left hand through the hole. Right hand on the outside. Relax the head on the ground. And pull your right knee towards your chest. We used a lot of this muscle today. You will use it a lot in your jumps, your sumo squats. We'll switch sides. Right hand through the hole, left hand on the outside. Pull the left knee towards your chest, and make sure your head is on the ground, nice and flat. I know a lot of people like to see what we're doing here. I don't know why, but everyone does it. All right, and then we'll cross our left leg over our right. I'm just going with my foot planted on the ground. I'm not going knee to ground. And then I'm just going to look towards my left hand. So left leg is crossed over the right. And I'm just looking towards my left hand. My foot is planted here. I'm going to do the same thing. You probably see a little better on this side. And then I'm just looking towards my right side. And a little bit of T-spine rotation there. And we'll slowly sit up and do our little butterfly here. Heels touching. Bring the heels as close as you can to the groin and then just slightly forward. We did go a little bit long today. I was really pushing it with those 2 4-minute circuits, doing 3 rounds. But I figured, you know, if I'm only on the schedule in the afternoon every now and again, might as well push it a little bit. All right, then we're going to go to half kneel hip flexor. So my right leg is forward, a little greater than 90-degree bend in the knee. I'm going to push my hips forward. Left knee is down, so left arm comes up. I'm just feeling that stretch all throughout the front there. And we'll switch sides. Left knee is forward, right leg's on the ground, right arm comes up. I push my hips forward, nice tall spine, as tall as you can be. Feel that stretch in the hip flexors, maybe in the core a little bit. All right, and then we'll just push back into our child's pose. We'll do a chest stretch. Robert's your father's brother. That will be our workout. All right, now we're standing into a handcuff stretch. Stand up nice and slowly. I'm grabbing my left wrist behind my back. Shoulders are back and down. Chest is lifted. Taking a nice few deep breaths. And we'll switch sides. I hope you all enjoyed that workout today. I know it was challenging. I probably worked half as hard as everybody else while I was talking, but I still found that really challenging and enjoyable. I hope you did too. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to let me know. I'm back on the schedule tomorrow at 7 a.m. for a similar type of workout in the hip workout. No equipment necessary for that one. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time.